I don't think I talk about it enough, but I've always been a fan of the Transformers toys. Always loved them as a kid, and even as an adult now, I still am fascinated by them. Right now, I want to look at Jetblade. It's a Decepticon from the Transformers series, and this one is intermediate difficulty, recommended for ages 5 and up. There's a lot of moving parts on this one, a lot of neat little bits and bobs to transform. The cockpit opens, the wheels go up and down, and I'm going to take it through vehicle mode as well as robot mode so you can see the whole transformation. I'm going to speed up only the parts that I got to speed up, but for the most part, you'll just see the whole process here. Granted, this isn't the newest stuff on the market. This is a little old. Not that I'd call it vintage yet, but I love the packaging. I love the style that they had even in 2009. I've got the instructions here just kind of as a reference, but I think I've mostly got it memorized by now. A lot of the Transformers that I've owned had various weapons and such, but they didn't have missiles that would actually launch. This one has 2 missile launchers, not just one. The wings come apart, the tail opens up. A lot of pieces move out of the way on this one. I tend to prefer Transformers that don't have too much kibble, and this one has some stuff still sticking off of it in robot mode, but for the most part, it's a pretty tight transformation. I'm a fan. On the legs, there's a lot of small and subtle movements, pieces that don't move too terribly far, but it does make a big difference in the way that the final robot looks. Something that really sells the vehicle mode is that the torso and the arms are all in the fuselage, and it has to swivel around to transform into jet mode. That gives it a very sleek look in jet mode rather than trying to hide a torso that's facing the wrong direction. Some of the older ones that I remember, they didn't have this swiveling feature, and so the jet mode was a little bit bulky, but I like the way that this one works. Once the legs are in position, I can get to working on the arms. The hands fold out. One folds out of the cockpit area, the other one folds out of the tail area. And then the missile launchers. They're actually not held in the hands, they mount on the forearms. And the more I think about that, the more I like it because hands historically have been more fragile. They're smaller parts and such. And if you can mount the missile launchers, the things that are going to move a lot and apply a lot of leverage to small parts, if you can mount that on the arm, you're going to have a much longer lasting toy. I find the colors rather pleasing too. The gray looks great on the jet, and then transforming it reveals a lot more of the blue, and the dark purple and the red blazes really kind of sell it. From a purely aesthetic standpoint, I'm not sure I'm a fan of the tall head. That's just the one thing that seems a little odd to me. But whatever. The feet are very generously sized, so this guy stands up pretty easily. The ankles are adjustable, so I can have him in different action poses. And as much as I'm sure you'd love to imagine me sitting alone in a room playing with Transformers, I actually like playing with these with my kids. That's the reason that I get them out. And my kids love the missile launchers. They love having firefights back and forth with me. And the launchers have a decent amount of power behind them, too. Speaking of action, when you rotate the arms, the turbines on the chest actually move. That's a neat touch. Now, they didn't have to go and do that, but I'm glad that they did. It's a cool detail to add to it. So yeah, pretty fun Transformer. Good addition to any collection. Looks great in vehicle and robot modes, and I recommend it for anybody who's down for an intermediate difficulty. I'll put a link in the description in case you're interested.